Hey, welcome to Real Talk, episode 184. I'm Todd, this is AJ, and we're back.
Hello, folks. I'm excited to be here, excited to have a show, excited for you guys to listen.
You didn't know what to say after the second line, did you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Hey, you know the deal, Real Talk. We're just here to talk about life, God, the Bible, and everything in between. Somewhere in the description of this show and or podcast, you will see a link. The link is www.theremnant.life/real-talk. Follow the instructions, go down to the bottom of the page, submit a question or article or thought you have about Christianity if you want something answered, whether you're a Christian or not. Maybe you just feel uncomfortable asking someone in person. Maybe you never had a chance to. Maybe you're not connected to a church right now, but you want to get some answers. Well, you can use that little questionnaire and submit it. It goes into our database completely anonymous. Couldn't find you if we tried.
Nope.
Genuinely. And we will answer that. We have answered every question. Okay, that is, and I guess I shouldn't say that. Maybe one slipped through, but I'm pretty sure we've answered. We've answered over 2,500. Is that what I said?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you said we're approaching 3,000.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Join in the fun, join in the conversation, and get real.
Real talk. Real people.
Ba-dum-bum. Real talk coming for you. This is my jingle.
This is my jingle.
We may have done more.
Oh. Okay, you'd have to add them all up. I did not know what just happened. I thought the whole.
Like
if
everything
somebody's watching the
broke?
video, you would have saw that. I thought he was saying that out of like the podcast, like something crashed, and that's why you're gonna look in this when this is edited later and go, why is Todd just so afraid? And that's why. All right.
Let's pull up a calculator.
So we got a lot to dive into here,
Yes.
but before we do, AJ,
Yes.
I think you have a big update for the folks at home.
Listen, y'all. AJ's 3 months of madness. We have $430 donated. We just need $70 more, and you guys get to see my hair with frosted tips in it.
I want it that way. That's boy band.
So, invite a friend
Back street.
to donate.
All right.
If you haven't donated yet, consider it. Because we're so close, guys, and everything's going back into this ministry, into Real Talk, and it's exciting.
It is.
What were you singing?
I was just doing every boy band song I could think of.
That's awesome.
For some reason, I always remember this one by 98 Degrees. It wasn't even famous, called Una Noche.
I think you played this for me.
Having the time of your life.
Yeah.
So, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yes,
Who's going
me
to do
too.
that? You're going to have it professionally done it or someone in the church?
So that's actually been up for debate. We did actually reach out to a few places, and they weren't sure if they were gonna if they wanted to be.
Who's that?
It was
Like hair places?
yeah.
Oh, you're going to see if they'll donate it or what? Or are you gonna pay 'em?
We were gonna kind of try to do like a sponsorship thing, but they didn't really seem like super
not?
interested. I don't know.
What lame O's.
Lame-os.
Did you
But
explain to them how much reach we have?
yeah,
And they don't care.
I guess not. So
That's embarrassing for them.
so,
I'm serious.
Yeah, it is.
You're
So-
a local hair person and you don't want to take the opportunity to get some like big time advertising in your community?
Yeah, because we were actually gonna
Boo-hoo.
advertise it like live. Like we were thinking about going like on putting it on live too.
Oh, maybe that's why they didn't want to. 'Cause
Could be.
They're afraid of like being on TV.
That could be.
Yeah.
So-
I thought you were just giving like ad space. Have you
Which-
considered selling ad space to them?
We could do ad space, yeah. And the alternative, though,
Mm-hmm.
was we have a couple of ladies here from the church that were willing to do it. So,
Okay.
yep.
Well, there you go.
Either way, I still think it'd be outrageous to do it. Like
If
while
we
it's
got
live.
$10,000, I'll go bald.
Bro, you better be careful.
They donate for hair and like removing it.
No,
and-
$10,000, man, and it only is going to last 1 week. This offer, it's not going to happen.
You got listen, guys. We got 1 week to raise $10,000 for Todd to go bald.
Dude, my
So-
hair's all I got going for me.
What
I'm
if,
in
what,
big
if,
trouble.
what if it happened? What if we actually raised $10,000?
I would do it, but I honestly would hate myself.
I already know the
I think I'd wear
conversation.
hats, like try to be a stylish hat.
I'd wear
wearer.
hats all the time
Yeah.
too, because I couldn't handle it.
Oh, you have to. It's cold here in Indiana. We
Oh,
had
yeah.
snow
It
yesterday.
is cold,
You
that's
have
true.
to wear a hat.
I would
That-
never
that
be
would
used to
suck,
that. I have very thick
Oh,
hair.
yeah.
Yes, me too. And I couldn't imagine having that cold air hit my scalp.
Anyway, some rich guy comes on and is like, oh, 10 grand? Oh, petty cash.
Here you go bald.
For no reason. Halloween. Anyway, trick or treat. Trick
Oh,
for you.
man.
I'm just continuing. Anyway, that's cool. So shout out to our donation givers. Do you know, my friend, and I bet you don't,
Okay.
if anyone else has joined the Real Talk Real Club?
Last I checked, I didn't see anybody.
Last time we checked was last week, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but a big shout out to our members of our VIP club, which is $30 a month. That is Sierra and Triple B himself,
Triple B.
Greg. You
Thank you,
guys are going to be getting your sweatshirts within the next 2 weeks. Make sure you put that down.
All right.
And I already told you what it is this time. I wish I hadn't. So you're getting sweatshirts, and then the month after that, something else. It won't always be sweatshirts, but these first one, it's going to be something special. You know, we want to get you something special.
Oh, absolutely. It's exciting.
Yeah. So we'll be getting a hold of you about your sizes and such because you've given us your contact info. If you want to join the VIP club right now, use the link at www.theremnant.live/real-talk. Put your contact info in there because we need your address to mail you stuff, your email. And also go to www.theremnant.live/give, make your donation. Then use that link earlier, www.theremnant.live/give. I'm sorry, www.theremnant.live/real-talk, and let us know. And of course, we'll see it in the records. But let us know immediately. Give us your info, and you too will get exclusive behind-the-scenes material, shout-outs, and merch every single month, something different.
We got a good exclusive content right before the show started that I'm gonna put it together.
Really?
Oh yeah, that was hilarious earlier.
Which part? Oh yeah, the wind. Yeah, actually, we got to do that too. We got to get that, man. We got to get that sent to them. Yeah, well, so we'll need your email stuff too to send you that behind the scenes stuff.
You can't write.
But some of it's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, pretty odd, funny, deep, all the good stuff. Because you have a lot of stuff still, right?
I
You
still
made
have,
some cuts?
I've made some cuts here and there. We've got some stuff for sure.
All right. Well, okay. Me no talk good.
Also, update on the questions. We've answered, if this is correct, there could be questions that have been asked outside of things, and there's also, we don't keep track of all the questions we're asked on Real Talk Live.
Sure, which would be even
But
more.
this is through the database. There has been 2,540 questions
Dude,
asked.
you're spot on with 2,500. Well done.
Yeah. All right. That's me.
That was
All right.
best reaction ever.
So there we go. Thank you guys so much. Plus, there's plenty of other givers, like we said. Those are just our VIPs. We've got Mandy. We had the whole list last week.
Yep, we have got Mad Max.
We got Kelsey's given before.
Austin.
Austin, love him to death.
Love him to death, man.
Yeah.
Krista,
we miss you. Miss you,
nice.
Krista.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the. I
Pretty
think
cool,
I
man.
think we covered the whole list.
Yeah. Well, why do I repeat everything I say?
Whoa.
Anyway, I was reading something that came out weird. Are you ready to roll, my friend?
I'm ready to roll,
Because
man.
first and foremost, we've got something important to say. What's going on with you? What's going down in the neighborhood? Ba-da-ba-ba-dup, AJ Street.
AJ Street is going real well. Nobody has crashed today, and now I don't know what to say.
That's a pretty good rhyme at the end there. Fun Turn is looking at us with disgust, which we know means this has gotten weird.
Listen, man, this is like our musical episode. Let's see here. What's going down on AJ Street for real? So I've actually. My Bible reading is still awesome, man. You know, I've wanted to just keep people updated on that because it really is awesome. And for those of you who are Christians listening to this, who read the Bible, which you should if you're a Christian, I encourage you guys to read the Bible like one section at a time because it has seriously changed my outlook on how I read and like how I'm impacted, man. You know, I'm still in Acts, and you know, I got to read. Saul was just introduced. It's funny, man, because your message actually this last Sunday covered a lot of exactly where I was at. You talked about Stephen, and you talked,
That's where you were.
yeah, and then you even mentioned Paul coming in when he was first Saul, and that's exactly where I'm at, and it's just so cool. So like that was really like encouraging for me. Like I was like, oh, this is like really cool to hear a message about exactly where I'm at in the Bible. So that was really cool. So just been reading in Acts, and man, it's just the Acts church is just so It's hard to even put a word on it, man, because it's just so different, and it's so, when you compare it to what church has become today, it can make me sad because I'm like, dude, those people were just so loving to each other, and it just, every day they grew, and it's just so convicting, so convicting that they were just literally growing every day. Their numbers were just being added, and it's like, man, how is it that we started there and we've ended up here, and I know sin has a part to play in that. I know my own sin has a part to play in that, but there's also like, I know that I often forget the power of the Holy Spirit and the fact that I'm a transformed person. Like, I found Jesus and I'm changed, and I think that I buy into the lie that I haven't changed, or like I'm just I'm just the same person who's just now goes to church, or or whatever, and like it's not true, and I think that one of the other things I've been trying to think through is like that it's okay for me to like think that I'm transformed. It's almost like for some reason I can feel guilty for thinking like I'm different than what I used to be, or I have changed, and I think it's that culture of self-hatred that still seeps into me, and like and it makes me like stay where I'm at. It makes me complacent instead of growing, and then there's also another part of me. It's interesting. So I have that part of me, and then I also have the part of me that looks back at to where I was, and I feel like you've talked about backsliding recently in one of your sermons, and I can almost get caught up in thinking, yes, and I can get caught up in like thinking like, man, I've just backslid into like the beginning, and like I know that's not true, but I can feel that, and like we actually had a really good talk at men's group towards the end of men's group this last Sunday that really had me thinking. One of our guys, Luke, he had brought up the idea of when you play like a racing game and like say you like get your best lap on it, and then it has like a phantom version of it, and you try to catch that phantom car.
Big Lukey.
Yes.
He was talking about that.
And his initial point he made with it was a little different, but it made me think about myself, and I was like, man, that phantom car is what I feel like I've been trying to chase, and that phantom car is that AJ that I remember from like 2019, and that's what I told him. I was like, that phantom car is like 2019 AJ, and what happens is I tend to get obsessed, or I get sad that I can't catch that 2019 best lap. I can't do it. But then what I realized is that maybe that 2019 AJ might have had that lap, but 2022 AJ, like there's no point in looking back and trying to chase that ghost. It's past, like I'm different. And so it's like 2022 AJ can't get that best lap because he's just so focused on that phantom that he can't make himself a new best lap. So like I hope that makes sense. But and that's hard for me because I'm naturally a sentimental person. I'm naturally a person who looks back instead of forward. So for me, it's like, I guess one thing I don't know is how to healthily reflect on life without having it like cause me to stumble in my forward progression now. It's hard for me, and I don't know how to fully do it still. Honestly, I don't know. I don't even know if fully do it is the right word. I just don't know if I know how to do it at all.
How to do? Okay, can you clarify what you mean with that? Like how to do what?
Like I don't know. I don't know how to healthily reflect.
Oh yeah.
Back and look back without
feeling that
stumbling now.
Yeah.
And I just I feel like I'm realizing that I don't know how to do that, because if I think about it, then it does cause me to like fall back, and it does cause me to just
is it just bad things or also like good things? Like you'll sit in the past of like good memories.
It tends to be bad, but there is some good mixed in there.
Yeah.
Or like, or I can think about times where I was like courageous then and think about like, why can't I do that now?
Oh, that's more of a negative. But yeah, I get it. Mm-hmm. So it's more comparing yourself to that.
Yes,
yeah.
It's comparing
dude,
myself.
I get that 100%.
And it's hard because then I'm like, dude, like, I don't know. Like, and that's where like this weird, like something rubs up against my brain, because I'm like, I know I used to be able to do these things, so I can now. Or that's just what I believe. When I know I can because I used to be able to. So then I think that's where that phantom comes in, where I'm like, this phantom car that I'm trying to chase, I'm chasing it because I know I could do it, But
you've done it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, part of me goes, is that bad? But I also think, yes, it is, because it's causing me, I'm focused on that so much that I'm missing now. I'm missing what there is,
Yep.
what opportunities are lying in front of me now, instead of like focusing on, instead of focusing on the now, I'm focusing on then.
Yeah.
And so it's just hard. Because I know, like, it is good. I know that it is good to, like, reflect and look back and see things. But, like, for me, and that could just because of my own self-hatred that I tend to have, that it can be unhealthy. So for me, I don't want to just stop not looking back, because I think that's good in some cases. But I don't know. Maybe it's not for me until I get to a different place, I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Sorry to ramble. But
No, dude, it's not rambling. I think it's good, and I think I relate to it. I relate to some of that for sure.
Yeah.
I think for me, I kind of tend to like compare times to better times in the past. So I look on the past with rosy glasses and say, man, I was happy then, or like I had my whole life ahead of me. High school football season is interesting. Sometimes I feel like that guy who lived, peaked then or whatever. But you look at it and I'm like, God, it was so much fun. It was so free, and I had friends, and like family was close. Like everything seemed better. And I know, like there's part of me that knows, like this just happened. My high school's doing really good, my old high school. Like,
They are.
Yeah, they're killing it. Undefeated.
QB's 25 in the state.
Yeah, you saw that? The fifth in the state? He's fifth in the state. He has 25 TDs.
That's what it is. Wow. Unbelievable.
Only a junior.
Jeez.
Anyway, yeah, man. I mean, so then I was like, man, how cool is that for them? And then it took me back, dude. And instead of like, and I don't know, even good memories seem bad because they make me sad. And I think I don't know. Is that normal for all of you out there? When you think of good times in the past, do you get sad or do you get happy? Because I get sad.
Me too, man.
Because I'm not in it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it isn't just high school; it's other things too.
Yeah. And it's like,
because those times were so much better, and there's part of me that's like, okay, when I was in it though, it's like that.
You didn't think that.
Yeah, dude. It's like that saying, from The Office. It's probably somewhere else too. I wish that I knew. Like, I knew I was in the good old days when I was in them. Something like that.
Yes. It's like, and that's where I can get confused too, man, because I go like, did I, like, during those times in the past, like, is it okay to like categorize those times as better, or were they not actually better? It's just because we were younger, or because the passing of time tends to do that. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that is. Like, was it really better, or was it?
That's what I think. But found the quote real quick.
Yeah.
Andy Murray, I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you actually left them.
Man.
And that's how it feels. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. And it's like, I don't understand. Like, is it bad to categorize those times as better because it makes you not look at the times now in a better light, But I also understand you talking about looking at it through a rosy, the rosy lens, because I do that a lot with like past relationships or like past friendships. Like, I tend to look at those things and go, oh yeah, here's all those good that I miss, and then you'll be like, bruh, like, it wasn't as good as you thought, or there was hard times in there that you're forgetting about, and and that's not even to like make light of like, bad times, but like, it's still. You're right. We tend to only look at the good, or I could use you like.
I do it both, but yeah.
Exactly.
Different times are bad. Because I'm stuck in my past sins and stuff sometimes too, so I get it.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. It's just a weird place to be in because I'm like, yeah, I'm chasing this ghost, but like, and it's affecting how I'm moving forward now. So I don't know, man. It's a weird place to be in, and if I'm honest, I don't know how to handle it. So.
Well, I don't know, man. It's
maybe that's just a natural part of life that you have to deal with. I don't know.
Well, and the thing is, then it's going to lead to another thing. You spend so much time living in the past that you miss the moment, and then you realize you don't have as much time left.
Dude, that is me entirely because I talk about it like I was 18 yesterday, graduating high school. Now it's almost 10 years later. It's terrifying.
Oh yeah,
the time just went away like that. and it only gets faster, is what I'm told. So,
Yep, I can attest to that.
I don't like it.
No, that makes me. I've literally, I think I told you this. Not all the time, but last few months, I've randomly like that place where you're almost about to fall asleep, and I always realized how many years, if I'm lucky, I have left, and I wake up in a panic, and I'm going, oh my gosh, dude, another day's gone. Another day is gone. Whew. I had a thought the other day, and I was talking to someone about this. It's like I had the thought of like death. Mm-hmm. And like when you think about that moment, that you're going to come to that moment, right?
Gosh,
even if you're blessed enough to be old, right? And what like the thought of that is so terrifying. Now, and everybody's like, "Well, I thought you know where you're going." It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that. I mean, the thought of that, man, is just overwhelming.
It is.
And do people that are elderly live in the awareness of that, or is it just like us, where they know it's coming, but they don't think about it, daily?
Kind of makes me wonder if it would put you in like a place of anxiety if you thought about it. So it makes you wonder if they don't.
I know, yeah, but like for me, I'm not gonna be able to control that.
That's true though. And like when I think about, dude, I love this conversation.
I hate it. It makes me sad.
I love it and hate it at the same time, because when like what you said, like that moment, man, when that time has come, like I think it's so scary, but also so intriguing because nobody knows what really happens in that moment, man. Nobody can come back and tell us. You can only experience it yourself one time. That is so insane. Because when I think about life, there's so many things and experiences and things that you can do over and over again. And, like, things that are guaranteed to happen again. But, like, there's a last time. Well, that's a whole different thing. But for this specifically, that last moment there, that is one time, your own experience. You can't tell anybody about it. No one's going to know.
You're alone.
Yep.
Except for God, yeah, you're alone.
It's wild. So it's like, I don't know, man. It makes me...
I know a lady at our church, Denise, actually,
Yeah.
and she's a big supporter of the show, too. I don't know if she's watching this, but she, I think she's okay with this. One of her jobs is she helps hospice patients. She's there when people pass on and able to give them love. And really cool lady. Awesome. And I think that's really special. But I've asked her questions. She probably thinks it's weird because it's such a surreal thing, And she says that it's interesting. I know a few times she's told me, it's like, there are certain things that are common, when people, it's just such an odd thing. So, anyway.
Last words.
But you know what? Let's spin that to a positive thing, man. Spin it around to, living life. And really living life. Are you actually living life? Not existing, living it.
Dude,
that's what I'm going to talk about when it's which I'm not ready yet, but sort of that idea.
Yeah.
Because I've talked for the last 2 weeks about how I don't know how to have fun. I told you guys my plan.
Your plan.
But anyway, that's good, man.
Gosh, dude.
Anything else going on?
Well, even what you just said, I can interact with, like you talking about the difference between existing and living. I think one thing that's hard for me, and I don't know if anybody else out there can relate to this, but sometimes I think I get so caught up in everything. Sometimes I don't know if I know how to live. I don't know the difference between living and existing sometimes, I think I've had moments where I become alive and I can feel that, and I feel like, wow, I'm alive right now. And I think like those are like moments. It's like lightning in a bottle. You capture it and then you just let it slip. Got him.
That's ridiculous.
But no, for real though. Like those feel like precious moments that just go. Like they come and go, and you capture it, and then that's it.
Let it slip.
I can't. I know it's stuck in my head
You're
now.
literally You're literally talking that song, speaking it. Anyway,
so it's just so odd, man. So like to interact with that dude, like it is odd because sometimes I don't know, if I'm honest. Like I don't fully know if I understand what living is, and that's like where Jesus comes in, because I'm like, man, if I were to just follow Jesus, he says that I'm here to give you life and give it to the full. And it's like, man, how much do I actually trust that? Or how much do I actually let myself think about what he's really saying to me? I don't know. So that's good stuff, man. It made me think.
yeah.
But other than that, I think that's really everything. I can't think of anything else right now. So
Nothing else, huh?
nothing else. But you said you had some stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
a good transition
I'm living.
guy, man.
That's
I've
true. I have
never
life.
I've never been a good transition.
Hey, man,
guy.
you had some stuff you want to get, or we just move on from this
No.
crap? Like, let me know either way. Anyway, yeah, man, a couple things to update you on. The weight loss journey. It's funny. I went back and I watched. This is actually I wasn't meaning to a while ago, and I think I randomly clicked one of our probably from this summer. One of the ones that had higher views actually. And I was talking about in there about how I was discouraged because I was going to lose weight and crap stuff. 17 pounds down.
17, baby.
17. My plan, Lord willing, because I've been losing about at least 2 a week. 1 week I lost 4 weirdly.
It's awesome.
But yeah, I would be at 20 right by end of next week for sure.
Congratulations,
maybe
man.
mid, and that's thank you, and I am proud of it, right? But one, it really made me realize how, because I seen myself even 17 pounds down in these in pictures and stuff. I'm like, goodness gracious, I'm a big guy, right? And it makes me realize how big I had gotten. But secondly, it is kind of crazy. So I go to the gym a lot.
Yeah,
you guys are there. You think of a 20-pound dumbbell, right? And when I lose weight, I'm going to do this. Lose weight when I lose 20. And you hold a 20-pound dumbbell and then go try to walk on a treadmill and run. That's what I'm going to do. And I was literally running with that 20-pound dumbbell on me.
That's wild.
I could grab a 15 now and say I was running with more of this. Isn't that crazy?
It's interesting when you put it that way.
Yeah,
man.
So that's been cool. That I've been on that. I don't know any of you guys out there listening on that journey, trying to get in shape or any of that, let us know. I'd love to hear what you're doing and how you're doing it and all that kind of stuff. It's cool to see other people's plans and stuff. I'm counting calories. I follow macros kind of on top of that. So, I try to eat a certain amount of protein, which I noticed the week that I lost the 4, my protein was spot on that week, all week.
Nice.
I've been missing a lot of well, that was it's not nice because it was a month and a half ago. And it's hard to hit that goal. So that's what I do. I know some people do different things. And it's just crazy because I certainly wasn't eating on a daily basis enough to have the weight that I was carrying 2 months ago, because only 2 months ago, 2.5.
Gosh, that's
2 months and a week.
Dude, that's impressive that you've lost that much weight in that amount of time.
It is. Thank you. And the other thing is just it's easier to lose when you have that much. But it's crazy because I didn't think I was eating enough to. Now some of it was muscle because I was bigger muscle than I was in a while. But let's be real, it wasn't majority muscle. And but when you actually start counting calories, you're like, gosh, man, it happens. It's easier than you think. I mean, because I've always worked out. It just makes you realize how much time you waste because you think it's too hopeless. So I was thinking about some friends of mine I have, who have told me sometimes they're like, there's no point because I'm here and there's no way I'm going to lose all this. And I was thinking about one of my friends exactly, who I've met in the last couple of years. And I was like, man, honestly, though, it is possible. If you just lose 2 pounds a week, okay, just 2, which isn't, you can lose 2.5 safely. Lose 2 pounds a week. Let this sink in. Let's say you average that. All right. There's on average 4 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. 4 weeks a month. So that is 8 pounds a week. A month, right? Mm-hmm. So 12 times 8, you want to know? 6,176, right?
I think so.
I'm crazy, terrible with math.
Me too, man. I can't even mental math. That's why I had to use my fingers.
I could do it, but
I'm
12,
terrible.
24, 36, 48, 50, 62, 74.
96. I'm terrible. It's 96. They're like, Todd, you're a dummy. Yeah, anyway. So it's 96. If you did go, that sounds off too somehow. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But let's make it, you can lose 100 pounds in a year. In 1 year, you could lose 100 pounds, safely. They say that safely.
Wow.
Right? And that's without, you could lose it quicker if you didn't care about losing muscle and, you were with watching a doctor and stuff. But 100 pounds a year.
It's a lot of weight, man.
So someone who is sitting there that maybe they're really heavy, maybe they feel, let's say they're 350, right? In 1 year, you could go from 350 to 250.
That's insane.
Right. 1 year. That's not that long. Now, to make it even more exciting, right? In half a year, you're down 50 pounds in 6 months. That's significant change, man.
Oh, it's huge.
So then at 250, say you want to lose another 50 pounds. That's just a year and a half. You could be down 150 pounds. You could go from 350 to 200 in a year and a half.
dude.
Isn't that wild to think
And that's
about?
life changing.
Yeah, that's life changing. Because I've already noticed like some of my joints. We play ball. Like I felt like I can jump higher. You guys have noticed it too. It's just little things, you know.
And that's 20 pounds.
Yeah, it's not even. Yeah, because I'm definitely going for more than that too. So anyway, just kind of encourage some of you out there that because I can get really discouraged too, and it is hard. You know, you do have to watch what you eat, and it's going to make some lifestyle changes, but you can do it, especially if you have the support. So anyway, there's one cool thing.
Yeah, dude.
The other thing, I like to use my hand to, what's happening? Fun turn, you did a confusing look. You're scaring me. He's telling me go, go, go.
Just go.
You have a mic. Never mind. It was unrelated.
Unrelated.
Okay, thank you. I wish you guys could see my view sometimes because he looks like the command center for NASA.
The command center for NASA.
But like a hipster version, right? Anyway, the other thing is he's right. So I told the guys, you guys, my friends, my pod squad, my book nook, my rumble jumble, whatever, my buddies. You guys will know that I've been saying that one of the things I'm trying to do is like I don't know how to have fun. And I would love to tell you that I have succeeded. I have not. I've done nothing. But this week, Monday, I have decided. Because here's the thing, man. If you called my friends, let's say high school, college friends, you called them, there are some things that are still the same. I'm sure they would say Todd, was a hothead at times, and Todd was stubborn and all that. But, they would also say that dude was a blast. He was a fun guy. Right? He just grew on you. Dun-dun-dun. Anyway, fungus. He was fun. I'm serious. I was the fun guy. I was the guy that was like, hey, let's get together. I would make things crazy fun. And somehow over the years, it's like when the more weight I took in leadership or the more I stepped into roles, and I became kind of hardened in the sense of like, well, you can't have fun because that's not what a mature, responsible man does. Right? Because that is kind of the pressure life puts on you.
Yeah, dude.
So even as you were talking, and that's why I brought this up, I told you guys, I'm like, hey, I'm just going to start doing random fun things again. You're like, what does that mean? I'm like, not entirely sure. I know it might mean going to the woods at midnight and walking around. Todd, adults don't do that. Why? Who said you can't? I'm still going to get up at the same time in the morning. I'm still going to do my job. I'm going to take care of business. Stuff like that. I'm going to watch a movie even while I say, you should be responsible. I'm going to go do things. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to try to do that. Haven't done it yet, but I'm going to.
Yes.
But this leads me, when you said this earlier, it made me start thinking about living life, man. And as you were talking, I just realized how much, now you've probably all heard this before on social media, different motivational speakers, but it really just hit me. We let so much of our life be dictated by the opinions of others.
It's true.
But in a subtle way. The people aren't even specific, right? So like, hey, you're supposed to be, both of you guys have shared with me before, and I get it because I was there. You beat yourselves up because you're not here, and you're supposed to be here. This is what a person your age is supposed to be doing. This is how you know they're successful, right? You have a 401k, all these things, right? And I'm not saying clearly those things are wise, but my point is we think, so that's on big scale. On a small scale, day to day, well, I've got to look like I'm doing stuff. I got to earn it. I can't just smile and laugh and have fun because adults don't do that. I've always got to be productive, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you have to work. You have to take care of your business, what we call it.
Absolutely.
But it just made me realize, man, maybe I can't speak for you guys. I live in a prison of what I think a man is supposed to be as far as fun and stuff. Like, he has to be serious-minded all the time. He's got to be, right? Because that's what I do. I'm just become a guy. I have brief moments of fun, of being crazy and silly or whatever. But a lot of it's, I'm very serious-minded, and I just think of all these heavy things all the time. Instead of thinking the heavy, joyful things, man, like enjoying moments. Because if that's true, life is so short, right? And we know that. And you just said a minute ago that death is like this thing that won't come again, right? And there'll be a time when we've had the last moment of everything. You'll have your last orange juice. You'll have your last kiss. You'll have your last laugh. Why do we waste so much time focusing on this stuff? And at least me. Why do I waste so much time? And it's not focused on everything I'm not doing that I need to do, which is important. But there has to be a way to do both.
There has to be. You're right.
And
this is my life right now.
And but I don't want it to stay there. I'm going to do something different. I want to do something different. I want to just start having fun. And that leads me to my conclusion.
Yeah.
So I think I told you guys back, part of my testimony. What's a testimony if you're not a Christian? It's just my story, my life, man, and how I met Jesus and what he did to change me. But I've said kind of multiple times I've had rough goes, but 2 times in my life really, really crashed. Maybe more than that, maybe 3, but because of my own actions, and then other people compound it, right? And they hurt you because they think if you sin, then they're allowed to sin against you, stupid stuff. When I was really, really depressed, and I was 100% depressed, dude. It was right after being suicidal, because I had a period of time when I was doing that, when I was around 20. I read in a book, I don't remember which book. Pretty sure it was a book, or maybe I just came up with it. I don't remember. If you guys know the book, feel free to drop the comment, you know. And it was, and I've told you guys about it, it's this idea of the yes challenge. So when someone comes and asks you to do something, right? Here's an example. How many times do you go, your mind goes, I would like to do that, but I need to do this, right? It just happened. Hey, I'd love to hang out, but I've got to get this done. I'd love to hang out, but I should. That's another favorite phrase. You don't have to. I'd love to do this, but I shouldn't. Or there's no point, it won't be fun. All these things. So what I did, and I really did this, is the idea is you just start saying yes to everything. As long as it's not like unhealthy or sinful. But I'm saying like if you come and go, hey man, you want to go Steak and Shake? And it's 11:30, and my mind would normally go, dude, I need to go to bed. Steak and Shake, they're all closed, but you get it, right? Or whatever. Mm-hmm. I say yes before I can even think about it. And I get in the car and I go because I did that. And the saying the yes is what led me to the story I say where I met some crazy people that I got to share Jesus with, you know. My buddy Pete, if he's on there, you know who that is. I'm not going to give him a funny nickname, Pete. I met him. I met all these things. And by the time I usually got to the destination or doing the thing, I was having fun, or I at least wasn't lonely, and I got to be around people. So if you come up and say, and it was tiring because sometimes you don't want to do it. Hey, do you want to watch this movie? Yes. So I'm going to do that. I have decided that I'm going to do that.
I love it, man.
And I'm going to do that for 2 weeks.
Nice.
So if you ask me something, which is going to be taking advantage of me, I'm sure, and it's something like that, I'm not going to be like, Todd, let's rob a bank. Yes. You know, let's kill someone. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But if it's like those kinds of things, hey, do you want to do this? You know, people, that's usually what they'll say. Hey, you want to come hang out? I'm going to go, yes.
Just go for it.
And I'm going to say it like that. Yes.
Exactly like that.
So anyway, I lost you guys halfway along there. But if you're in the space I am, it's going to speak to you. And I challenge you if you're in down right now, if you're kind of discouraged and you feel like you don't have friends and you're kind of lost and all those sorts of things, just as a tangible step, certainly you need Jesus. I don't need to tell you that. But say yes to stuff.
It's good,
Stop talking yourself out of doing it. Stop saying you're too sad. Just go do it.
Dude, you're speaking to me, man, for real. Because that is like, if anybody asks me anything, dude, I legit have like a panic attack almost in my head.
Yeah.
Like an internal war within myself of like, what are you know, like it's literally what you said. Yeah. Yep, I don't have time. Well, what about this? And then I think people can even sense that on me. And then that's when I'm like, I'm not sure, man. I don't know. You know? And like, yeah, it's...
And I'm almost scared to say this because I've opened a door.
Dude, it is. That's what I was about to say. It's a great challenge, but also I feel like it's scary.
It is scary. Now, again, if something happens and I literally can't, so for instance, if I have my daughter, you know, I'm watching, I can't go golfing, right?
Yes.
In 30-degree weather with with Daisy. That's not going to happen. Right?
No,
like,
you can't do that. But it makes sense. And I think it's awesome. I think it's a great challenge.
It helped me, man, and it's and like I want to start living life. I want to stop living in the past, and I want to make new memories that are the good old days now.
That's so
because
good.
I will look back on this time. That's the crazy thing. You think you're old. Well, then you're going to look back at yourself and go, man, I didn't even realize how much life I had.
That's so good.
And that's in every age, man. There's somebody that would wish they were your age.
Oh,
that's what's wild.
That always gets me, man. Every time.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I don't know if that's rambly for you guys, but
I loved it.
I'm going to try that. I'm going to try it. So
we challenge you to say yes
to things that are appropriate and fun, not to evil, sinful, destructive things to yourself. But other than that, say yes. All right. Thank you. Moving on. We got some questions.
All right.
Number one, though you kind of answered this. Why hasn't AJ's 3 months of madness fundraising goals been updated with a $500 goal donation? It still says 0.
So we actually released a graphic on Facebook, and maybe that's why you didn't see it, because we only put it on Facebook. So if you were looking on like Instagram or something like that, I'm sorry that you didn't see it. We are up to $430. If it's an internal thing, I know there's been some issues just seeing numbers in general. There's I got my guy Austin. He takes a look at it for me, and so we're actually at $430. So I apologize that you haven't been able to see that. If you want to actually respond to this and let me know where you were trying to see it, that'd be great, so I can help out. Thank you.
This ad has been sponsored by Congress.
As soon as I said thank you, I was like, that was weird.
No, man, it's good. You're a politician.
Yes.
You're up.
Vote for Noel. My grandma stopped going to church when I was young because she felt all they asked about was money. Is it important to be giving money to churches as a new person just starting?
I actually feel you on this. So I was kind of raised, and I don't remember distinct conversations, but I do remember the feeling of like churches just want your money. And so when I first became a Christian, so here's an example. When we first started this church that supports this show, I never asked or brought up offering ever. I was like, I'm just this hippie man, and we don't care about your money, and that's just how it works. And then you realize, like, well, yeah, we want to feed people, but like you got to have money to buy the food and all these things. And also, P.S., it's a biblical principle that I was ignoring and the reason I ignored it is I thought that way, and I didn't want people to think that. I was trying to like take away their excuse. Right? If you're a Christian, so when you say you're a new person, you're a Christian. You have accepted Christ. You're called to give. Okay? Now, why is that? Well, one, you can't serve God and money, Jesus said. You'll love one and hate the other, right? And serve one and not serve the other, etc. So money has a holdover. So I always like to ask people when they ask these questions, like, why are you asking that? Is it really that we want your money, the church wants your money, or is it that you don't want to give up your money? See the difference? So scripturally, it's 1 Corinthians 16:2. There's no thing that says, the word tithe, it meant 10%, and it actually was a little more than that. It's an Old Testament principle, okay, for Jesus. After Jesus came, there's no more direct amount that we're called to give or whatever. But there are 2 verses to keep in mind that very specifically mention that. I mean, then Jesus also speaks about it and talks about the old woman and the penny. I mean, there's implication that we're to be givers, right? But 1 Corinthians 16:2 says that we are to give at the first of the week, right? He tells us to give to the first of the week in accordance with our income, or ask so much as you can prosper, meaning doesn't want you to give all your money so you can't take care of your kids or can't pay your rent or can't eat, right? But you are to give. You are to give something. What is that amount? I don't know. That's between you and God. And that's something that and even 2 Corinthians 9:7 says, and I'm paraphrasing, but it says, each person must decide in his own mind and conscience how much to give, because God loves a cheerful giver. And, I read a comment one time in something I was reading, I don't remember, that essentially said, giving is supposed to be a blessing and a joy. It should be something we're joyful about doing as Christians.
That's really
so. A lot of Christians out there, we're Americans. We don't like people telling us we have to do something. Telling us. Here at our church, we don't tell you, if you're a member, especially, we don't tell you that how much you're supposed to give, but you are called to give.
Absolutely,
you're accountable to that, just like anything else. If you give $1 and that's all you can give, and that's what you feel like God is telling you to give, okay. We got to trust the Holy Spirit in that. The problem is we've had a lot of churches and shady religious leaders out there claiming the name of Christ that are driving billion-dollar jets and all those kinds of things. And it seems like all they're about is money, right? And taking advantage of older ladies and promising them healing rags and all the shady things that we've all seen on those channels, right?
Yep.
And we become leery, and that makes sense. But you can't even take 50. Let's say there were 50 rotten apples, and then say that the whole barrel of 1,000 is bad. And regardless, it's not even about what's done with the money, because at the end of the day, it's between us and God, and we're giving to Him. It's a sacrifice, right? And so, is it important to be giving the money money to a church, yeah, it's important, but not for the reason you think. It's important because God doesn't want money to have a hold over you either. And the very fact that, and this is deep, I appreciate the question, but the very fact that you're questioning that shows that there's something inside of you that doesn't like the idea of giving your money to someone.
It's good, man. Yeah.
And, your church, there's a lot of things. The worker's worth his wages. Pastors and ministry leaders, they deserve to be paid for their work. It's real work. I know our church, we use tons, way more than 50% of our budget to operate and do the ministries. And, just last night we had a family stay in the church because their heat was shut off, right? We've given thousands of dollars away to people. We have what's called a compassion fund if someone's in need. As Christians, we tangibly are like, I'm trying to think, I guess tangibly is the only thing I think of right now, but functionally what we're doing is taking that money too, and we use it to bless other people. So, but that shouldn't matter because you got to deal with that. So go take a look at 1 Corinthians 16:2 and 2 Corinthians 9:7. Go read about Jesus when he talks. He's watching the old woman put the money in the offering box, right? And she puts a penny in, and he's got the Pharisees and all these religious hypocrites putting in, let's use our terminology, thousands of dollars. And he said, that woman's given more than all the rest of them because she gave out of what she didn't have. You know what I mean? She didn't just give up what was left. She gave, from her heart. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, man. That's so good.
It's not about how much you give. It's about, are you being obedient to God in giving something? So one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, I know a guy who was giving $2.50, even a week, 50 cents, because he didn't have a job and he kept doing it. You know what else is cool? God has promised to take care of us. And that guy, this is a true story, lost a job. He got a check in the mail from a letter. I will witness this. Excuse me. He lived with me at the time. And it was this sounds like a movie, a long lost, great uncle who ironically was a pastor.
Wow.
Was, right? Very elderly. And he said, hi, so-and-so, I just felt led to send this to you. $1,000 check. You know what I mean? Come on, man. It's not a coincidence. And I'm not saying you give to get. I'm just saying God's going to take care of you.
God is so good, man.
Whatever way that looks like. And if not, he's got a plan. There, I hope it answered your question. AJ, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Is it wrong for a Christian to watch a movie with a Ouija board?
So, a Ouija board, if you've never heard of one, is essentially a board that you can essentially try to speak to what they would call spirits. And is it wrong for a Christian to watch a movie with that? We've answered questions similar to this before about entertainment and all that kind of stuff. I think if it's causing you to stumble, if it's making you question things, or if it's making you live in fear, I think you shouldn't watch it.
Exactly. Absolutely.
It's kind of like, I'll even use, I made a quick note about even Halloween, how some Christians celebrate Halloween, some don't. The Holy Spirit is going to convict you one way or the other. I think that if you were watching a movie with a Ouija board and you get that Holy Spirit prompting that you shouldn't be watching it, then you shouldn't watch it. If you don't feel that, then go ahead and watch it. I just tread lightly, I suppose. The Holy Spirit is real. So,
and I'll tell you what, Ouija boards are real, and those aren't deceased relatives they're talking to.
No.
I'm not saying every time those are demons, and that's real.
Oh,
the Bible tells us that. Our battle's not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities, right? That our enemy prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. The enemy is real. Satan is real. Demons are real. They're out to destroy you, to make you live in fear. So I'll tell you this. I like thrillers and even, depends on what you call horror, right?
Yeah.
I don't like slasher ones because I think it's vile. I think that they've taken it farther and farther. And as a Christian, it really is hard for me to watch those.
Oh, yeah, it makes me uncomfortable.
It is. I mean, how can I say I'm against that and then kind of revel in someone getting disemboweled or something? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just hard to see that. I don't feel right. But I like other things because they're hard to figure out, sometimes. And I like the twists. And you guys know this, there are this just came up actually for us. I don't remember what it was. We've watched game playthroughs before because they're funny, people, or horror games. People playing those games because they're funny. And there was a game that I think none of us have watched.
No, I haven't watched it.
Did you watch it?
Nope.
We didn't watch it because it felt wrong. And even they put this weird warning. They're probably trying to scare you, and it just felt wrong, man.
Yep.
It felt off. And,
yeah.
you got to be obedient to that stuff. There's certain things that I don't watch because it's not even whether or not it affects you. It's, one, the Holy Spirit's telling me not to. But, two, like you said, man, tread lightly. That stuff's real.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know. And we're not to mess with that stuff.
Yeah, I think people don't take that call seriously. Like, again, if you're not being convicted of it, I definitely caution people, because I did go down the rabbit hole. Like, I listened to podcasts about supernatural stuff. I did all that, and I did that for a long time. And eventually, I got to the point where I was like, this stuff is very real, and I opened a door that I can't close.
Oof. Yeah.
This is something I never wanted to. I didn't want to open this door, and because I started listening to those podcasts, I started getting in there. I was like, oh well, there's a true crime thing to it, because I'm a big true crime guy.
Yeah.
I still was exposed to things I never wanted to be exposed to.
That's a good way to
honestly,
put it, too.
Once the door was open, I knew it was too. It was this weird thing. Is like, I know I'm protected still because of Christ. I didn't doubt that ever, but I knew I had opened a door that He told me not to. And He's like, well, now you've cracked open the door, so now you know things you should have never known. You've listened to things, talking about things that honestly you didn't need to know about. And I was telling you this for your own good, so you didn't need to look into this. You didn't need to know about this. You didn't need to know about this. So if you are convicted about this, which by you putting in the question means that you're most likely convicted about this, don't watch that movie. Like a lot about like what Todd says, I don't watch anything demonic.
Yeah.
Like, I won't watch it. I won't watch any of that stuff. And that's just because I've been personally convicted about that. I don't like watching that stuff. It makes me feel doesn't make me feel good. I have a genuine thing where I'm like, I don't want to watch this. Like, this is not this. I'll
And
watch
you should obey
horror.
that. If the Spirit tells you to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I'll watch horror, I'll watch thrillers, I'll watch a lot of things, but if it involves demonic, I'm typically out. Normally I'm like, okay, I'm good. This is I'm done with this. This is not something I
Well,
like.
we know that stuff's real. So whether or not it's being portrayed fictionally in the movie, it's hard sometimes when some of the stuff goes. And honestly, some of those movies are using real occult stuff. I mean, they are to
Absolutely.
make it, and it's just, you got to be careful. Like you said, I think both of you guys. I think that's great that you share that too, Clint, because that's a very specific thing you felt convicted not to do. And I wouldn't say you're sinning if you do. Unless you're disobeying the Spirit and it's telling you not to, then you are sinning. It doesn't matter what we or don't do. But I'm with them. There's a line, man, that I can't watch certain things. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite. I do watch horror movies, but I don't like slasher, bloody, kill, that stuff. And I don't watch stuff like that feels a little too real, a little too literal sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it doesn't bother me because werewolves aren't roaming around. You know what I mean? But demonic stuff, man, the Ouija, that stuff.
Yeah,
Plus, the
it's
other
weird,
thing I
man.
think of is how many kids and people is it leading to actually use a Ouija board, which 100% as Christians we should not be doing.
No.
Because that is a cult, and that is, we are to stay away from that stuff.
Yep. That is.
Anyway, definitely, it's odd. Huh?
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think you're up, my friend. That was good stuff. Thanks for sharing that, Clint.
All right, next question. It says in the beginning of Genesis 18 that 3 men appeared to Abraham, and one of them was the Lord. Who do you think were the other two, or were they angels?
Pretty cool story, man. These are called like a theophany. I think that's the word. In the Old Testament, it's when we see God literally show up, and then some of them call like a, proto-gospel, or I can't remember, but proto-gospel is the first thing in Genesis. Anyway, these appearances of the Lord, right, of Christ. And so, yeah, I believe it was the Lord. We know that because it says that in the word and terminology. The other two were angels. I think angels, there's my southern. You can see that. That's something else I want to bring up. I forgot to say during my personal thing. They were angels. We see so this is on Genesis 18. Well, in Genesis 19, it says, the two angels went to Sodom and Lot.
Oh, well, there's your answer.
Yeah, it was two angels. So good catch.
Nice.
I wanted to take a second. I was thinking about this. I talk about this a lot and kind of joking, but I genuinely meant to, and I didn't write it down. Well, first off, is that all the questions?
I think that's all the questions. Yeah.
We want to get into some real news reviews, but I want to say this. Casey, I'm so thankful for my Southern family and my Southern kind of roots. I really am. I don't talk about it a lot, but it's come up recently. And I'm just really blessed to be where I'm from, and that my family's from there. I don't know. I guess I just want to say that because sometimes I joke around about my southern accent and stuff, and it's funny because I'm up here in Indiana, and people do say that. They say,
Yeah.
"Hey, you," and I'm like, if you talk to my cousins and my aunts and even my mom, you're like, Todd doesn't have an accent comparatively. But I'm very proud of where I come from because just so many good people down there and so many good values that are still instilled in people that I'm just being honest, they're not as important up here. As they are down there. And I never realized until lately is how much that has affected my character in a good way.
Oh, yeah, man.
Even before I knew Christ, like just these almost Christian values that aren't called Christian values, right, necessarily, but they're instilled in you down there. And I meant to say that during my, so sorry for the weird abrupt change, but
No,
I'm very
that's awesome,
very
dude.
thankful, dude, for where I'm from being from Appalachia. I'm from Eastern Kentucky, and I love my family so much. You know, Southern family, at least my family, is the type that I have not seen some of them, and when I say this, I mean this, like 15, maybe more years, okay? I think we looked this up. What was it? 28 or 38 cousins. All right. Oh, you did. Did I tell you this? I looked this
No.
up. Yeah, I can't remember. It's 28 or 38. One of those two. I can't even add them up. Like, this is legitimate. 28 to 38 first cousins on one side.
Wow.
My mom's from a family of, I believe, 10. I have to count them all up. But she had an older brother that died when he was 18, the oldest. So he didn't get to have kids. But, so that's how it happens. You know, they all have 2 or 3, 4 kids, and
Before you
adds
know
up.
it, yeah.
I know I could call them today in need, and most of them would want to help me. And that's just, like, not common.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, because I think up here it'd be like, well, you haven't been in my life. Where are you? And it's like the idea of blood matters, you know. And I don't talk about that a lot, but I just want to say, you know, I'm really thankful for that. And that's something that's been coming up lately.
That's really cool,
And it's
man.
kind of weird. So, you know, you guys, you know, my daughter, who I love so much, she's a year old, and Daisy. And I was actually thinking about this, and maybe this is part of it, is just wanting her to have that. Like, I want her to know that part of her family. I want her to know that part of her culture because it is a different culture. If you're going to call the inner city a different culture, I promise you Appalachia is a different culture.
Yeah.
And I want her to know that, and I want her to be proud of that and to have that in her because there's a lot to be proud of.
That's really
down
cool,
there.
man.
So my grandpa, for instance, was a coal miner. I mean, he was a legitimate coal miner.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dangerous work, though, man. And
Yeah,
it
very.
affected him. You know, eventually he was on disability and stuff. Like, he was a coal miner. I had an uncle that was a coal miner for a long time. So it's a different place, man. So in case any of my cousins, I don't know if they watch anymore, my aunts, I know some of them used to watch. I just want to say, hey, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Tell my mama I said hi. That's it.
Nice. I love it, dude. I
Anyway.
appreciate you bringing it up. It's really cool.
Yeah, I meant to say it earlier. So we got some interesting articles.
Oh, yes, we do.
So would you like to tell us some real news?
Some real news and some real views. So, this first one we have here, this is from ChristianPost.com. Ooh. It's titled, Activist Pimps. Mom blasts school board for promoting family-friendly Halloween drag show.
I'm sorry, can we stop for a second? This is such a serious thing, and I mean this. And I had to explain why I laughed. Do you understand how you said that? How you read that?
No.
I'm going to try to do it. Activist pimps. Mom blasts school board for promoting family friendly. You see that? Activist pimps. It's like you were like saying your like the name of your band. Yo, we're activist pimps. Mom blasts school board. Anyway, that is the title of the article. Activist pimps. Mom blasts school board for promoting family friendly Halloween drag show. I only laugh because of the way he said it.
Yep. So,
This, by the way, all jokes aside,
Yeah.
this is crazy.
oh, it's insane. Absolutely, it's insane. So you have parents are currently rallying behind a mother. There was a mother who was blasting Southern California School District for its plans to host a, quote, family-friendly Halloween drag show, which she said amounts to, quote, pimping out her kids in an already, quote, hypersexualized culture. You know, she claims that she went to a school board meeting, district school board meeting
This
in
is
San Diego.
San Diego County.
And she's accusing them of acting as groomers and activist pimps for the, quote, Boo Bash drag queen show that's planned for Saturday before Halloween.
Pause real quick. So, this is a school
Yes.
district that is hosting what they call, quote, a family-friendly, end quote, Halloween drag show.
Yes.
Okay? And they're encouraging students and people to bring their families to this. And then, from what I'm gathering, she actually saw, this is like what was a part of it, right? What this next part is. And I think
Yes.
this is wild. So I just want to say it. Okay. Do you want to read that part?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
this is a quote from her, right?
Yeah.
It says, "What is it about a grown man costume in a sparkly bra with augmented boobs busting out and wearing a miniskirt barely covering his twerking butt with duct tape out on his front while spreading his fish-netted legs as he writhes on the ground, grinding his groin next to a minor? Family friendly?" She asks the board.
So that's family friendly?
Yeah, that's a quote.
Apparently,
from her.
that's what literally happened. You know, at other times that this has happened, which is just wild.
Oh yeah.
And says that the drag queen show was sponsored by a local San Francisco gender reassignment surgery center in collaboration with a popular gay nightclub.
Yep. And
She said, while we have a culture that has a huge problem with child porn and with sex trafficking, Encinitas Union School District in California made the decision to feature an event to sexualize young children. End quote, she wrote.
oh man, and what's wild about this is the elected San Diego supervisor. So she is a part. Her name's Tara Lawson. Raymond.
Sorry, real quick. I don't want to say
go
this because I apologize, but this is where the actor's pimp part came from. She went on further. She told the board, quote, "You all played the activist pimp for a line surgical center." That's the gender reassignment place. "And for a 21-plus gay bar. It makes you groomers and activist pimps, and we won't have those sitting on a school board that oversees the education of our children." Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's great you brought that up. I missed that part. So then the elected San Diego supervisor, Tara Lawson Raymond, criticized the parents, saying on Twitter that they should, quote, "be ashamed of themselves for pushing hate and intolerance on all of us." She also said she would be taking her 3-year-old to the event.
So this is what I can't stand about our culture. Okay, first, before we even get into like that last statement, she made sure, I'm taking my 3-year-old. That's absolutely ridiculous. But somehow it's pushing hate and intolerance to say that we shouldn't have a highly sexualized show promoted in our school systems. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if you don't agree with people, if you don't agree with them, you are a hater. And you said it, hypocritical, because they don't think they're hating us. I mean, us meaning people that maybe our values stand against this. That is what I cannot stand, that our media is even strengthening, is this idea that if you don't agree with it, that means we hate them.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. And
she pulled her kids out of the district as well.
Yes. Her and I think several other parents pulled their kids out of this district. Let's see here.
She said, our message is very clear. We don't want strip shows. We don't want drag shows, and definitely not sent out inviting the parents and kids in our district. How is that hateful? There's no part about saying hate, nothing.
You know the funny thing about this? I'll bring this up real fast because I talked about this last night. I actually talked about this. And you know, it's a trending topic on top of this whole article. Yeah. There's a trending on, there's about 5 different things on this. So you want to know the sad part about this. Nothing about this is hateful. In fact, they bring up the fact that this is essentially just allowing groomers and all of this, whatever this is, all these people, you're having a grown man twerk in front of your child, which in any other years of society, that man would have been lynched. Or he would have been attacked, or he would have went to jail. These are the 3 options in any decade that we would have went through. Depending on where he was at in the country, that's what that would have happened to that man. And I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, go on.
Besides, if he was actually grooming, then going to jail, then obviously breaks the law. But this whole thing is, there's nothing hateful about this. In fact, this is almost a preemptive.
That's a good way to
stopping something that could happen that is terrible.
Oh yeah.
You want to know the most common thing. So I am super into true crime. Super into true crime. I've studied a lot of this. I could go into ridiculous amounts of things that I find very interesting about all of it, about researching psychology, whatever it is. What this mother is doing is right. You shouldn't allow grown men, grown women, whatever they want to call themselves. This is outside of a Christian opinion. You should not allow them around your children to do a hypersexualized show because you are just allowing pedophiles to be around your children. I'm not saying that's everybody there, but it sure in the heck could be
Oh,
You
it could
have
be.
It's
4 or
like
5.
setting that culture.
Well, I mean, there you go. And it's saying that children, it is sexualizing because it's making it normal for a child.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right.
It's
And then
very
how
wrong.
can that and in a way what they're saying is that in a way grooms them because it gets them used to that. Right, before their timing.
Oh yeah.
And I think you're right, man. And I think it's unbelievable because that this even happens. And it sounds like a bunch of parents, kind of how it ended. They did take the flyer down and said that it wasn't, it didn't follow their procedures, I think, right?
Yeah.
And etc. And then she said at the end, this is coming, quote, this isn't an isolated incident, quote, this is coming to every school across the nation, she said, adding that, quote, we're not going to play by the rules and we're supposed to be afraid that we're going to be punished if we don't speak up now. That's true. Canceled, whatever.
Yep.
I think that lady's response, this is my opinion, the one who said, I'm going to take my 3-year-old, she is literally expecting to be applauded for that. You understand?
Yeah.
And let me tell you what has happened here. Kids, and it started with our generation, and it's been even worse with the next. We have been groomed. We have been manipulated into believing that if we don't go along with this system, this hypersexualized, this what they call inclusive, right? That's what they call. Because inclusive means we have to let those communities do whatever they want. And if we don't let them do whatever they want, we're not loving them. You understand? That's what they're telling us. And that woman, we have been brainwashed to think that. Like a lot of people to go, yep, that's right. I can't say anything because, man, if I criticize that community at all, LGBTQ, whatever community at all, then I hate them.
Yep.
And that's not true.
It's not true at all.
And but that is how we've been brainwashed. And it's like, yeah, the loving people is like, it's so surreal to me. It's surreal to me. The most disturbing part of this was that school board lady saying, this is hate and intolerance, and then saying after it, like she wants a cookie, I'm going to be taking my 3-year-old to it. All that makes me do is look at you and go, that is disgusting. I'm sorry, It just is. So it's just wild, man. We live in crazy times. And
It's insane, man.
people don't think about culture as a whole. They just don't. They think that they live in a vacuum and they just do whatever they want. It doesn't lead. One thing leads to another thing that leads to another thing. They don't think that way. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's just wild. So.
No, yeah, that's exactly what it is. There's a large group of people, I believe, are living in a complete delusion because they don't want to see how it's affecting the outside world to what they're doing. You don't see the damage you're causing. It's what is happening here. Dare I say? Now you can correct me because I don't care if I make people mad. This is on the level, the insanity that has happened with this, and the delusion and the craziness. In some ways of just that we can't argue, we can't talk, we can't disagree, we can't do anything is on the level of the Salem witch trials. It really is.
I don't think
those
that,
women.
I think you're making a point. Yeah.
Exactly. It's the same thing. The women couldn't argue. Oh, Betty Sue's a witch.
The only way we know she is, and we'll put a rock around her, and if she sinks, she was not a witch.
Exactly. We're
If
not
she
that far
dies,
away.
she
That's
wasn't a
just
witch.
what cancel
That's what they
culture
thought.
is. Exactly.
If she floats somehow, she's a witch.
Yep.
Anyway,
And if you argue, you're a witch. Because why would you?
clearly you're hiding something.
Yep.
Let me ask you this: could I go to that same school district and say, "Come on out to our strip show, burlesque show, with actual women. It's family friendly. Come on." Could I do that? Would that be considered family friendly to them?
I don't know anymore.
No, the answer is no, dude. I guarantee they'd be like, no, not that same lady. Probably be like, I'm not letting my kids go to it. But somehow, if it's drag, homosexual culture, whatever, then that means it is. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So one is sexualized and one isn't, and I don't get it.
One is given free pass, and one is this is taboo.
Yeah.
And it's directly, it's insanity. It's insanity. It's literally saying this is almost to the level of just you're hating on a group of people, which is also what happened. But it's an actual. It's so crazy because it's a weird. I don't even know how to put it. It's like if you took what happened in Nazi Germany, but then you expanded it to not an actual group of people, but a demographic instead.
It's true.
And we're headed towards that angle of what happened in Nazi
And we're not saying that,
we're not
we have it
saying
this
it
bad
is.
and we're putting
No.
gas chambers. But the point you're trying to make is that those kinds of things start somewhere, right? And you couldn't speak against it, an ideology, and I think that's true. And to make it clear to everybody out there, I would be saying the same thing if this article was about a strip club show they were inviting, just with women. Okay,
the same thing.
It's the same point.
Yes, absolutely.
Same insanity.
But it is interesting that one gets a pass and one wouldn't.
Yeah, it's a good way to
And
put
that
it.
I hate them if I don't agree. That's just that's so crazy to me.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
So desperate. Next article. By the way, that article is from the Christian Post. This next article is from the Washington Post. You can check this out. Headline is "Desperate Pleas and Smuggled Pills. A covert abortion network rises after Roe." Amid legal and medical risks, a growing army of activists is funneling pills from Mexico into states that have banned abortion. Would you like to tell us what this is all about?
So it starts with a story about a girl named Monica and how she's 25 years old and essentially, she is pregnant. And, she was panicking because she didn't want to have this kid, but her state had banned abortion. So she got on to Reddit and she just posted about it. Hey, I need help. I don't want this kid. I'm not in a place financially, et cetera, et cetera. And she got a message from somebody that was like, kind of like an anonymous account. And they said, hey, give me your address information. I can get you an abortion pill for free.
ASAP. Yep.
ASAP. Yep. And so she goes, okay, she's nervous, but she says, okay. And that kind of leads into the introduction of there has been a formed network that has many levels here of essentially an underground abortion pill network that they're spreading into the states from Mexico. That's just the beginning.
That's unbelievable. And it says, it described a pipeline that typically begins in Mexico, where activist suppliers funded largely by private donors secure pills for free as in-kind donations or from international pharmacies for as little as $1.50 a dose. U.S. volunteers then receive the pills through the mail, often relying on legal experts to help minimize the risk. This is why he said this is an actual network.
Yes.
Before distributing them to pregnant women in need. The system could upend Republican plans for a post-Roe America. Despite the strict abortion bans that have taken effect in over a dozen states, some anti-abortion leaders fear that the flow of abortion pills could help make abortion more accessible than it was before Roe fell. Los Libres, one of several Mexican groups at the center of the network, says its organization alone is on track to help terminate approximately 20,000 pregnancies this year in the United States. What an interesting choice of words. Terminate.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's definitely you know what they're trying to avoid.
Yeah, but what's that word mean? Kill, end, you know?
Eliminate. I mean,
Destroy. Take care of the problem.
Anyway, it says that amounts to about 20% of all legal abortions that took place in 2019 in the 13 states where abortion is now almost entirely banned. Soon there will come a moment when we won't be able to count any of this, said Veronica Cruz Sanchez, the director of Los Libres, adding that the group works with a U.S.-based volunteer network that numbers about 250 and is growing. The leader of another Mexico-based group that supplies pills, Red Necesito Abortar, said the elaborate volunteer structure was quote, like a spider web. Once we get the pills in the U.S., they can distribute them across the whole country, said Sandra Cardona Alanis, the group's founder.
Which, by the way they're doing this, fun fact, is how drug dealers do their stuff. Because recently this guy's gone viral. They did an interview with a guy who was a former drug dealer, went to jail, all this stuff, and he broke down everything that he did. He just put it out there. And he said, we used to literally ship cocaine. We used to everything like that easy. Because, the mailing facility, they can't track it all. They can't get them all. They can't get all the packages, and even if you do, you lose some product, you can just resend it to the person. It is what it is. They're doing the same thing as the drug dealers. Also, here's the other thing: where are they getting the abortion pills? Because they're in Mexico. If we're honest, at the end of the day, who runs Mexico? The cartels.
Yeah.
Which this could get very bad, and they even bring it up in the article that they're worried. Not even that it's going to be more, that eventually the pills that they get will not be abortion pills. They'll be fake pills, or they'll be laced pills. They'll be all that. And I'm like, well, 100%. Somebody's going to want to turn a profit at some point, especially when it's this big. Oh, they're going to want to turn a huge profit.
I think it's there's a quote here towards the end where I'm trying to see who this is. It says this. A nurse, actually, who is working with Los Libres, because there's nurses, actual medical nurses that are on the DL helping this stuff. But the nurse in her late 20s thought about the lawmakers, blah, blah, blah. And she said, quote, "I want those politicians to feel powerless," the nurse said of her decision to join the ranks of the illegal abortion movement. "I want them to feel the same way my patients feel." She mailed her second set of pills the next day. So this is tough, man, and this is what I mean. I do, and this is another example of what modern culture tries to make you do. They try to say that if you're against this abortion, that you don't care about the mother. And I 100% empathize with a 16-year-old, even a 25-year-old, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Who's scared, who doesn't know what to do. Even in my situation, and I wasn't that situation, you know, having a child is scary.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It's scary right before you do. But I'm telling you, people are making decisions based on not viewing this as a person. And one of the greatest blessings in my life, and you guys know this is true off camera, I say this, is Daisy.
Yes.
And the idea that had, everybody has thoughts that run through your head, And again, my situation isn't like theirs. I get it. It isn't desperate. It wasn't, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like theirs. But I'm just saying everyone has those little fears that come.
Oh, yeah.
If you lived out of those fears, you can miss the greatest blessing in your life. And that's on beside the point that even scientists now, and I just read this somewhere, I wish I had it in front of me, you can Google it, have admitted, at least many of them, non-Christians, that life begins right at conception. And you've got to face what you're doing here. And it's sad. It's really sad because if you are thinking about the mother, the emotional consequences of this for a lot of them is devastating.
Oh, yes.
Later. And I am a huge proponent of helping these people, You even know we've had ideas. I've had some ideas at the church on how we can step into this area. We actually support an organization financially here in our community that provides resources for mothers, right? Single mothers that are struggling. That's a big, and we're going to continue to support them.
Absolutely, man. It's awesome.
To help those mothers who have the child, to give them the support they need. But we've been thinking and dreaming about ways to take it farther because a lot of times some of them are desperate and they're like, they don't have anyone, right? That's the whole idea. How can we as the church, as Christians, step inside those situations and say, hey, you have someone in your back. You have someone that's going to answer those questions at 2 a.m. You have someone that's going to help you figure this all out, whether it's adoption or whether you want to keep the child, right? It can happen. You can make this work. And sometimes I think a lot of those women feel like the only options are go through this alone with no support. Let's say some of them. Some of them are just irresponsible people that think they can, whatever. But some of them are in bad situations, and and those are the ones you feel for because they go in their mind. They think maybe they're not saved, maybe they are, but their mind's just thinking, do I take this when I'm completely alone? Maybe she's 16 and the dad ran off and she doesn't have family. That's real stuff. So it's either I have this child, I'm barely eating myself. So do I have this child, or do I quote terminate it? And those are my only two options, and that's not true. What if we, there was another way for them to be supported and to be encouraged? And, we shouldn't just sit here and say, stop abortions, which they should. And you guys know that, my stance on that. I mean, you have to be. I think any Christian that says they stand for abortion, I can't understand that, It doesn't mean you haven't had thoughts of that. It doesn't mean any of that. I'm just saying, when you sit and think about it, how can you be okay with that? But I also believe that Christians need to stop viewing them as the enemy and understand there are women in there that we need to step into those hopeless situations and provide the hope of Christ in that somehow, And I don't know what that looks like, but I think it'd be cool, right? If there was, does that make sense? Like if there's some way that we step aside those people, because that is a portion of it.
That's church, man.
Yeah.
That's
so good.
what we're called to do anyways. It's in the Bible. We're supposed to come alongside those people. Yeah, people make mistakes. People have done these things. They may have been irresponsible up to this point, but when you're scared and you're alone, you do desperate things to survive.
Absolutely.
You're a cornered animal at that point. When we go down to the basic basic thought processes of humans. We still are animalistic in a lot of ways, and we're pack animals. So when we feel alone, we start doing desperate things to be able to be a part of things around. We're afraid of being judged. We're afraid of all these things. We don't know how to do it. We don't know how to do all these things, and that's just it sucks. But if we can, we're called to step beside those people and love on those people and tell them, you know what, this is going to be scary. I'm not going to lie to you, but we will get through this. There's another side to this.
But I think it's just crazy, man, that what's happening. And they think they're heroes, these people here.
Oh, yes.
It's unbelievable. It's unreal. So
absolutely.
I think it's another example of being told we're evil if we don't support this.
Very much so.
So it's a weird narrative,
scripture,
man.
They're going to say, come a time when they say good is evil and evil's good, and all that, paraphrasing.
Oh, yeah.
But
It's the narrative is odd right now. Very odd.
yeah. Anyway, moving on to... Go ahead, sorry.
Real quick, these women are also delusional, because if this becomes a big enough problem and people start dying, this will be... If they can track down drug dealers...
Yeah.
In fact, actually, I'll let you know right now. If one of you is listening and you're angry about this, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You can find this guy online. He talks about it. He was a big-time drug dealer. He said no matter what you do, you will get caught. He said if you're drug dealing, if you're doing anything in that thing, if you're moving product, if you're doing things that are illegal or giving a substance that is illegal or doing anything like that, which this would be illegal in those states and it is a substance, the government has too much stuff behind them. You will get caught. You are in a delusion right now, and if you're gonna get caught. This is another thing. The people in the article that said this, that think they're heroes, they're gonna get caught, and it's just sad that we're gonna see craziness happen before then.
Yeah. Just got a lot of prayer, man, for this country.
Absolutely.
Our last article comes from CBN.com. It says, pastors reveal troubled U.S. economy is having a negative impact on churches. AJ, you want to take over from there?
Yes, sir. So, essentially, they did another. This is a survey.
Lifeway Research.
Yep, Lifeway Research study. It says a Lifeway Research study of U.S. Protestant pastors found that 52% say that the current economy is having a negative impact on their ability to operate. For 40% of the economic circumstances aren't having any effect. Fewer than 1 in 10 pastors, 7% say the current economy is a positive factor, which is crazy. I'm like, wow. So I was surprised to even see a number there. But one thing that kind of jumped out to me was that just last year, on half of the pastors polled, 49% said the economy was having no impact. So within just a year, we're seeing that a jump from 49% said no impact to 52% saying negative impact. Yeah. That's insane.
Ooh, sorry about that, folks. Just punched you. Yeah, I think one cool little positive in this is down at the bottom here. It says, despite their negative financial outlook, most pastors report their congregations have continued to give regularly.
Dude, I underline
faithful
that.
Thing, man.
What a cool thing. Agreed. Let's see here. What else? There's a lot of this is just numbers. A lot of numbers.
Yeah. So they're saying that ones that are really being hit are the smaller churches.
Yes.
And that would be churches of 50 or fewer, because as prices rise, there's fewer people to spread that cost.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's been interesting. It's also kind of cool. It then talks about how some of the churches are trying to be a light during these hard economic times.
Yes, man, these are really cool.
So it mentions in Louisiana, there's a church that did its part, the Lone Wall Worship Center, and we don't know anything about that. It's just the name. In Monroe, Louisiana, offered communion prayer and $25 worth of free gas to the first 200 drivers who came in the church's parking lot. And this one's wild, this next one. And last February, the United Church of Christ, which I don't know anything about them, UCC, gave peace of mind to people across the country by paying off more than $100 million in medical debt.
Wow.
So this Cleveland, Ohio-based denomination had announced it canceled $33 million of patient debt in just Oklahoma, or in the Buckeye State, bringing the total of debt canceled by the church in a 2-year period to $104 million.
That's insane.
Is that not crazy?
Oh, it's awesome, man.
What a cool, tangible way,
Oh, to help people out.
Yeah, and then there's another one that paid off medical debt for 782 families in New Mexico, parts of Arizona, and they were able to save $15,000 to pay off the debt. I don't know if this parish has ever funded a program of such great impact. We were able to do it every week because we set aside 10% of our donations to the church for outreach, blah, blah, blah. prioritizing service to others is gospel imperative, says Catherine Voland. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. It's definitely like
In the midst of that.
in the midst of hard times, it's cool to see the church of the capital C doing what they're they're trying to be a light.
Be a
It's
light,
really
yeah.
encouraging. And it was encouraging to see that that most churches reported that the giving was still regular. And that just, to me, it's a cool reminder, to anybody listening that is a Christian that goes to a church and you're a member, keep giving, it's biblical, and, just, you don't know how far your giving goes to help,
Yeah, and I think, in case you're wondering how those two things go together, so how are they saying it's having a negative financial impact, yet still people are giving? Well, the economy, people don't have as much to give. So they're giving, but their giving's going down. They're giving regularly, which is awesome and faithful, right? And that's all you can ask people to do. But it's making it harder for these churches to function. Because if the individual members of the body are struggling financially, then certainly the church itself, is going to. So
yes.
Crazy times we live in, guys. Crazy times. But anyway, those are your real news, real views for today. Hey, make sure you're aware of what's going on in this world, in this country. That's just scratching the surface. There are resources out there to find out what's going on.
It's good.
And even better ones than that are sort of neutral. Anyway, I think that's the end of the show. Great show today, guys.
Oh, I loved it, man.
So I want to give you the opportunity. Anything you want to say, AJ?
Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you all so much. You guys are the reason why we do the show. So keep on sharing, keep on commenting, keep on liking the video. Put a little blurb at the top when you share it as to why you're watching it so other people will watch it. At the end of the day, this is here for not only you guys, but for people who need to know Jesus. So it's you guys are just as big a part of this ministry as we are. Thank you guys so much for your faithfulness, and I love you.
Fun turn?
Alrighty, you came here. We're happy you came here.
Fun turn,
We're really happy you're here. If you like the show, we just ask you to leave a 5-star review. It really helps us on the business end of things. We just need to get out there more. You know what?
guy
You know
asked
what
for
I
a
mean?
review over
Yeah,
here.
we
He
need
asked
to
for a review,
just put a review. Put your favorite
A
Italian
Canadian
dish.
guy to join in. Ooh. Anyway, sorry.
Put your favorite Canadian dish.
This is this
Apparently,
guy.
you know.
Hey, you got Putin.
Yeah.
Who's
whatever
this
that
guy?
is.
We got.
I don't know what's
Hey,
going on over here.
anyway.
Anyways, you just leave your favorite Italian, your favorite Canadian dish, your favorite thing down there. Or you can leave us a heartfelt message. It'll
Hey,
touch
we
our
love hearts
hearts,
over here.
maybe even touch our tear ducts. We appreciate you. If you don't like this, if you didn't like this, you know what? Do what your mama said. Keep it to yourself. Get to stepping. We were glad you showed up. Jesus still loves you.
Hey.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
But otherwise, you don't need to leave nothing. You can just go on down the road. You can just keep walking, keep stepping.
Have
go
a
to
cannoli,
different.
whatever you want to
Yeah,
do.
exactly. Have a cannoli. Just yell at a cup of coffee. I don't know. Yell at some
need
guy
to put
walking down the
together a
street. Maybe I
compilation
don't
of
know. I don't know. Just don't. We don't need it. You don't need to put a 1-star review. You don't need to do it. You can just keep walking. Anyways,
Hey, I appreciate
this has been,
it.
this guy.
It's all right over here. Hey, for goodness sake, over here, this guy wants you to help him out.
Help the man out.
All right?
Yeah.
Anyway, from the bottom of our heart, thank you. Anyway, appreciate you guys. And like he said, please do leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. I know some of you haven't done that. Please, right now, take a chance. Take a moment to love, spread the good news. Social media needs it, right? Hashtag social media needs it. They need positivity. Give us a 5-star review, hopefully. Give us a review if you enjoyed the show. Other than that, hey, keep sending those questions in. Keep being a part of the conversation. Have these kind of real talks with your community, your family and friends. And we want you to know one thing. Jesus loves you. You're never too far gone for him to bring you home. You just got to put your faith in him and trust him and walk. I hope you guys have a great day. God loves you, and God bless.